thank you so much for joining me for this interview. I really do appreciate it. I know your schedule is so busy.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want people who may not know who you are just to give us a little bit of background on where you came from and who you are.
Well, I'm from Brazil, and I moved to the United States in 1994. Studied arts, wanted to be in the fashion industry, but didn't know what I was going to do in the fashion industry. I thought handbags, shoes, didn't know what. But then I started working banking in New York City. Had a great job and really enjoyed my coworkers. In September 11th, 2001, I said I have to do what I love because we all might die next month. I don't know how long we're gonna live. My father is a musician, and he never made money with the music, but he said that that's how he found happiness and doesn't feel like work. And he always said, pursue your dreams, do what you love, no matter what you do. So that day I told my husband, I said, I'm going to work with fashion. And jewelry was the only thing that I could do with work, and just started doing from my home and learning.
So September 11th was really a wake-up call for you.
Yes. Just to enjoy life while we have it, because that was such a surprise, that shock surprise, but well, they didn't end with us, so that's good. We are here.
So when you're at your home and you're saying to yourself, okay, enough is enough, I've seen tragedy right before my eyes and I don't know how much time I have on this earth, I want to do something that I truly love, and you said jewelry was the thing. What was the first thing that you ended up doing? How did you go that direction, and how did you start?
Well, I wanted to do something that I could do. So I knew how to crochet. And that's how I started. I started crocheting stones. So my husband bought me stones, and I started crocheting in wire and nylon. Was this the question? Am I going the right direction? Okay. So I started selling to my coworkers. And on my break, I would go and sell to other friends that worked in other offices. And then I started selling on a street market on the weekends, just to see what people that didn't know me would say about it. Because maybe my friends were just saying, oh, it's nice, and buy just to help me. But I had people that loved it, and I started getting excited about it and going every weekend. Of course, my friends thought I was depressed. That was just September 11th, doing something post-traumatic. So everybody said, "Oh, this is gonna stop soon. Like, don't even worry about it. You're gonna go back on your 9-to-5 job." But I started learning because I wanted to be more serious.
So, how did you get the manufacturing side of it underway?
Well, I started hiring artisans in Brazil to do the work. And I started with one, and then a few months later I had 12 people working from their homes and shipping, and business started picking up. That's when we decided to move to Texas. We had never been here. I had no clue how Texas was. My husband grew up in New York, and I met a lady from Texas, and she was so beautiful. She was well-dressed, everything matching on Sunday morning in New York. That it's very odd because everybody's so casual. And I said, where are you from? And she said, I'm from San Antonio. So I said, oh, that must be a good place. Tell me about your city. And I loved the name of it. And my husband came like a few months later, and he checked it out, and he said, oh my God, Texans are so nice. Oh my gosh, they're so polite, and da-da-da. So 3 months later, we came, and we bought a house in a weekend and moved to Texas.
Just like that, moved to Texas.
We didn't know anybody. We just liked it.
And what year was this?
2003.
Okay, so 2 years after you just started getting things going, you're moving to Texas.
And we love it.
And so once you moved here, 2003, what happened then with the business?
Well, we started, when we moved to San Antonio, first thing we did a kiosk at the mall so we could see the area. We wanted to open a store. So we said, okay, let's figure out what area is good in San Antonio. We had no idea. And really fast we found out, and so we opened a store in Alamo Heights. And it was a very nice store until we had a museum buyer coming because her sister-in-law had some jewelry and liked the jewelry and told her it was the Arkansas Museum. And she came and she said, okay, I need to buy your jewelry for the museum. So she ended up getting a lot of things, and she bought it, and she said, I'm going to introduce you to my rep. At that time, I had no idea about wholesaling, nothing. I was happy with the store. That's it. So then my husband took the samples to the rep, and he called me. He said, oh, my gosh, she loves it. And so she started repping us, and business started growing and growing fast. And with all the wholesaling and all the traveling, it was hard to keep up with the store. Then Eva Longoria came to the store with her future mother-in-law, Tony Parker's mom. She was a good client from the store, and she said, I'm going to bring my son's girlfriend here. And I had no time to watch TV back then, so I didn't know who she was. I didn't know Desperate Housewives. I was just working. And so she came, and she said, oh, my gosh, Gabrielle will look beautiful in some of these. And she flew me 2 days after to LA with her to meet the stylist of the show.
And you had no idea who Gabrielle was because you didn't watch the show.
So then I wasn't nervous. She was just a nice girl coming, and so it wasn't that star. I didn't have that, because we get intimidated when we have someone that is so famous and so well known. But with her, she was just a normal human being like me. So everything was smooth, and we clicked right then. She was really sweet, and she empowered me. And that's what she does. So she took me there, and the stylist of the show bought a lot of jewelry, and she said, oh my gosh, I love everything. And she used it a lot at the show. Back then, when that happened, we were in about 50 stores. And we could barely take care of our store. Like, we didn't have time. We couldn't find somebody to work full time. So we closed the store, and we started selling in San Antonio. We gave exclusivity to one big store there, and they're still carrying our line. That was in 2005. And few months later, I told her, I went back to LA, and I said, Eva, now we are in 100 stores. I'm really afraid, like this is happening too fast. And she said, your life is not a roller coaster. You're not in a casino. So it's not that you're going to be lucky today and something bad's going to happen tomorrow. You can have luck. You can have good things happening to you. So don't be afraid of success. Just enjoy it. And so closing the store, we could dedicate more to wholesale, and still I love my job. And
she's been a great friend ever since, hasn't she?
Yes, and she's very busy. I don't see her much anymore, but every time I see her, she's the same with me. She's really loving and sweet.
And you passed that uplifting spirit that you had with her. You do the same with a lot of people and a lot of things that you do. We're going to get into that in just a second, but I want to also continue to talk about when it comes to the next step that you took with your line, because your line is international at this point. And could you have ever imagined something like that when you were on I'm going to say not on a street corner, yes, but basically you were in New York, just just trying to sell your wares and see what people thought?
Never imagined. And that's why sometimes it happens a lot when people say, oh my gosh, how do you feel? Well, I feel normal because I was in every step of it. It didn't jump from here, there. I worked every every part of the business, every production, sales, meeting clients, wholesale, retail. So to me, it was just a slow growth, but with me being part of it, so I don't feel a difference much. But when I stop to think, or whenever somebody tells me, I say, oh my gosh, yes, I can't. Let's say when we were on the street market, I went to the Metropolitan Museum, and I saw an exhibit, and I told my husband, I said, oh my gosh, it was a Picasso, and I did pottery back then. And I said, oh my gosh, imagine doing jewelry with a ceramic. And I was so inspired. And I told him, maybe one day I'll make jewelry for the Metropolitan Museum. And he said, you're so funny, Claudia. That's never going to happen.
And guess what happened?
It did happen. I did 3 collections with them. So it's things that let's say we had, there's a singer, her name is Eve, and she was doing a reality show. Right when reality show started, I don't even think it was a successful one, but we didn't know her, and we didn't know, we stopped in Beatles, let's say. Like we are not up to date because we worked so much.
But the Beatles are still pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's a good thing to be a part of, yeah.
So this guy came to my husband and said, oh, I love your jewelry, and Eve is doing this reality show. I want to dress her. And my husband said, who is she? And he started showing pictures, and my husband said, oh yes, and I believe in Santa, like you want to use the jewelry for. So
you guys didn't believe that she really wanted your jewelry?
No, we didn't think that. Even when Eva said, do you want to come you can fly with me the day after tomorrow to LA, and I'll introduce you, and you can stay in my house. She was really, really giving. And I came home, and I told my husband, said, this is not going to happen. She just said that because of her future mother-in-law. Like, she was saying, like, that's not going to happen. Then the airport called me. We need your ID number, because you're flying with Eva. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's serious. I need to get ready. I need to pack. And back then I got worried about packing, what I'm going to take. Oh my gosh, LA and all of the celebrity things. And then there was a picture of her, and I was close to her, but they cut me. And I realized, okay, I don't need to worry so much because she's the celebrity. Like, she likes what I make and she wears, but I don't need to. So now I'm more relaxed about it. I don't.
And you're still fabulous, so. And you're a celebrity, too, I'm just saying. Okay, so, I mean, after all of this, just having your amazing jewelry on national and international television because of that show, and having other stars using your jewelry for promotions and things of that nature. It's been in magazine articles. I've seen a lot of what you've done. Yet, out of all of this and all of these years you've been doing this, you still remain so humble about this, and you still also give back in ways people don't even realize. Can you tell us more about what you're doing, especially when it comes to helping women out there?
Well, since I grew up in Brazil, and in Brazil, people do a lot of charity and volunteer work because it's the only way the government doesn't help. So my mother always did charity. So I grew up seeing her cooking every Friday for the homeless and doing this and working in orphanage and kids with AIDS. So I grew up with her and with her doing all of that. And I was feeling something empty because I wasn't doing much. Like I was giving jobs, but I was trying to find what can I do to help society, to contribute, to make the world a better place, something. Then I went to India to do a collection, and I didn't go to the fancy schmancy places. I stayed in a factory working with the workers, all men, by the way. Very different in Brazil. My factory is all girls. And one guy to just have them not gossip.
Wait, guys gossip too, or what?
No, they don't.
Oh, they don't. Okay, the guys are. You're saying the women gossip. Okay.
Yeah. So then in Brazil, we always have a guy there, just So they won't do anything. They won't talk much.
Okay. I get it. Okay. So they can actually do more of their work. Okay.
But in India, it was a surprise. It was all guys, and when I walked into the factory and I saw their looks, the way they were looking at me, thinking, "Okay, what is she doing here?" And
Wait, they didn't realize that you were the boss,
No.
did they?
no, they didn't. And I think I didn't realize their culture also. So I had jeans, t-shirt. I went to work in the factory like I do in Brazil. So I was just, and they were looking. I was a little. I thought, oh my gosh. So they wouldn't listen to me. I would say I want this, and they would go to their boss and say, what do I do? And the boss would repeat exactly what I said, and then they would do it.
Because the boss was a man.
Yes, because over there they listen to the men. The men, it happens a lot. So I had to teach them sanding and soldering and a lot of things. They had no idea. Like, this factory wasn't prepared for the kind of work that I think they do, more manual work, like the crochet or embroidery, and I was working with metals and sanding. So at the beginning they were really they didn't like me, and I just kept working and kept showing. Then lunchtime, they just stand up and wait for us to eat, and then they would eat. And when I realized that, I said, "No, I want them to eat with us." "No, we don't do that here." I said, "Oh yes, we're gonna do that. bring something to everybody." But anyway, so one of them spoke a little bit of English, and so he worked with me most of the time, so he could translate to the other guys, and I felt a very nice connection, and he was really sweet. And we were talking one day, and he said, "You know, Madame, I'm a really, really good husband." And I said, "Oh, really? What do you do? What do you do for your wife?" And they had kids, and he said, "I don't hit my wife."
Really?
And I said, "Is that normal in your village? Do they hit their wives?" He said, "Oh, yeah, it's normal. But I don't." And I said, "Oh my gosh, and you have a daughter, and please don't ever do that. And don't," I was in shock. So I was staying with my friend. She lives there, and I went back to the apartment, and she's from New York, and she's been working her whole life, and she's working now in a big company. And she said how hard it is whenever she tells them what to do, they always ask the man next to her what to do. So she was going through the same thing. And I said to her, "Oh my gosh, so he said today that he's good because he doesn't hit the wife." And we were talking about that. Soon I realized that happens back home in the United States. We have women being beat by their husbands all the time. And in every level of society, don't think that only happens it happens in every, just the women that have financial stability, they'll go and they'll check in a hotel. They usually have family. They go to the mother's house. They go to friend's house. They have support system. And we know about the cases of women that are financially, that are not wealthy or that don't have work, or they come from broken families, and they don't have a place to go back to. Usually they're poor. So those ladies, they go to the shelters because they don't have where to go. They have no support system. And so that's when, and I had met the president from the shelter in San Antonio years ago when we had the store. And when we closed the store, we had clothing and shoes also from Brazil. I started adding, and we donated everything to the shelter. That was in 2005. So I called her and I said, "Hey, Martha, I want to do something with the shelter." And I told her the story, and she said, "Okay, let's do something." And
this is the shelter in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we started. I would go there and teach them, and we'd select and teach and show, and they were making the jewelry. But it wasn't like they're in the dorm suffering making the jewelry. We had a nice we have nice room, and it's a job. If they don't do a good job, they can't work. Like it's really, but it helps them emotionally. Sometimes all they need is a little bit of, sometimes all they need is someone to tell them go to counseling. That's all.
Yeah. And this was a great way, I guess, you use it to train them in a trade that they may not have ever been exposed to before, and open up a door to an opportunity of doing something with their lives that they probably thought they were not even good enough for, because they were being beaten and always thought that they were doing something wrong.
Yes, one of them said right at the beginning, she said, "Why did I stay for so long? I had no idea somebody would help me. This is really nice." And I still have plans. I really want to, what I want to do in the future, and I hope I'm able to do it, I want to do a co-op where they walk in and I'll say, "What do you like? What do you do? What is your passion?" And if they say, "I like planting," okay, let's try to find a job for her at the what is it called?
At a florist,
yes,
or,
a florist or
anywhere that deals with flowers or
yes.
vegetables, anything.
Yes, if they like cooking, let's find in restaurants. Let's try to, so that's and also for them to do work for other companies. So that's my dream, to do it, and I hope I can one day. But with the shelter, so I have 3 ladies working. They're not in the shelter anymore. They are out of the shelter, but they are independent. They are, they have other works, and this is my job is just a part-time, they do on the side, but they make extra money, and that helps. But I really want to have a whole factory with like 30 ladies just working, but I need to have a lot of time. But if you change one life at a time, and sometimes you don't realize, you think that you are helping them. When you start doing charity work, you think you're helping them, and we don't know, people don't notice that it's so addicting. You do one, and then you're gonna do more, and it's never enough. It's because the reality is they are helping you. You've been helped by them. Because let's say you go there and they're telling their stories, and you start to realize, oh my gosh, I have such a good life. My gosh, my husband's so nice. Why am I not having, why am I not being patient with him? Because he's really, so it helps you realize, and then it gives you strength to do more, and it's really addicting.
It's one of those true addictions out there that's good for you, because all the other ones are not.
Yes.
But it's good for you, and it actually fills your heart in a way that probably other things out there couldn't do, because you can physically see that you are making a difference in someone's life, and they're making a difference in yours too.
Yes, and there's so much you can do. So let's say when they leave their house to go to the shelter, usually they arrive at the middle of the night. They don't have clothes. They don't have anything. They have to run away, literally. And they're trying to. I don't know how it's going, but they're trying to do a dog shelter within the shelter. That was their plan, because they have to leave their pets, and the abuser will be rude with the pets because they want to hurt the kid and the mother, so they
take it out on the animal in the house.
Animal in the house.
That's awful.
And so the kids get there, they left their dog or their cat, and they left everything behind. So when you're in a hotel, and you look at that little shampoo that you have there, you can grab a bunch and donate to the shelter.
Yeah.
Like they don't have anything, nothing. So when you think about it, if you just go once a week and buy shampoo, nail polish, Eva Longoria, her foundation, San Antonio, Eva's Heroes, I do some work with them sometimes, and they're really nice. She's a spokesperson for L'Oreal, and L'Oreal donate makeup for their events. And one Mother's Day last year, or the year before last, I'm not sure, time goes by so fast that now I lost track of. They shown the director over there, she called me. She said, "Hey, I have a bag full of makeup. Do you want to take to the shelter?" So I took the shelter, and they did Mother's Day gifts. Oh my gosh, one of them said, "My husband never let me wear eyeshadow. What is the darkest one?" So she got like purple, because she said he never allowed her to wear makeup.
That word allowed, it just sticks in my head. Never allowed. Every person should be able to do what they want to do, as long as it doesn't harm or hurt another human being, just to be able to live.
And they still want to look beautiful.
Of course.
So makeup is a great item to give to shelters. By the way, nobody gives makeup. Makeup is good.
We have to remember that. It was like Christmas Day for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Mother's Day.
Yeah. Oh, well, then that's it. Okay, that's even better. So, I mean, for all those people out there who are listening, and you're talking about how for you, giving back is a part of your life. And when you weren't doing it, you had to find a way to do it because it's what you know. For those out there who don't know what they should do, if they want to help out or why they should help out, you've explained why you think they should. What would you tell them to start doing it today?
Well, they need to find what they like. So let's say they like dogs. Okay, so go to the dog shelter and see what you can do to help them. First you have to see what you like. Let's say I love women, and I had that connection because my workers in Brazil are all women, and so I have that connection, and so that works. So it needs to be something that will naturally, you're good with kids, little kids. Try orphanage, try hospital, and donate 1 hour of the month. Like, start with little. Don't
like overextend yourself or
yes,
anything?
No, because then you're gonna get overwhelmed. You have your life. So it needs to happen slowly, and also have it with little small attitudes. Sometimes just be nice to everybody. That's all. Sometimes you want to be. Sometimes you are in a bad mood, and you have headache, and so people will ask, "How are you feeling?" "Oh, I have a horrible headache, and oh my gosh, and this happened and that happened." No, just say, "I'm doing great." And you smile, and they'll smile back at you. You made that person have a better day, and therefore you're going to feel better too, because you're going to feel that good energy coming back to you. It's all about love, and forget about it. Just give people a little bit of love. Before, I remember I used to be very, like, if something wasn't fair, I would complain and say and make a point. And now I think, is that worth it? Today might be the last day she talks to me, so I'm better be nice to her, because maybe she won't see me anymore. Maybe even with your kids. So you have to start being kind. Kindness I think is the word. Then you have to find what you love, like what you like. How do you want to start helping? And give 1 hour a month. Then you start finding what else can you do there, what else, and then slowly, gradually, you'll be more involved and more involved. I think that's the key. A little bit. Start small.
Because a little goes a long way.
And there is in everything, every area, there is a charity. And if you think about it, you like fashion, Dress for Success. Go over there, help them work in the store, and help. If you like fashion, you can do charity. Anything. It's there, and you need to Google. Google is the
Just find something that you care about or that you feel that you can help in and just make a difference. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Claudia, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You're absolutely wonderful. And I love that you have wonderful jewelry, but also that you have these wonderful women that you're helping to get a fresh start in their lives and open up the door to great possibilities. So thank you for all that you do.
And they are helping me.
I love that. All right.